Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing my Mars in the Houses Synastry Overlay series. So in this video we're going to talk about what it means, how it feels to have someone's Mars falling into your third house, or your Mars falling into their third house in Synastry. So Mars overlays in Synastry show where our more aggressive sexual energy and also just how we get things done, how we go about taking action, how we, with that part of ourselves, light up the other person, the partner in our life. So with Mars in the third house, this is actually a really good overlay. For being able to do things together and have a more light-hearted friendship. I should title this video like buddies, because it really is, like with this one, kind of like we're buddies. The Mars person, while like this isn't an overly sexual placement for either of the partners, the Mars person will see the house person as sort of like non-threatening, someone who they can just kind of be buddies with and express their Mars in a more lighthearted, fun, playful way. It's kind of like siblings in a way, because the third house can represent siblings, but in a romantic relationship it's just going to have a feeling of like we're buddies. And if you have other links involved that would show a more romantic connection, this one can really level off like a lot of the Pluto stuff or Neptune stuff, or whatever's going on that's more intense. This overlay can kind of keep it casual and keep it light, and you can remain friends. Like with this aspect, it's kind of like we're friends first, right? And you want to look at everything because you could still have other intense things going on, but this overlay is really going to add a lightness and kind of like it does create a buzz where the people do want to communicate. The third house person can feel like they're communicating more easily with the Mars person, and the Mars person just kind of naturally sees the third house person as someone who they can kind of be themselves and express like a more lighthearted version of their Mars. So depending on what sign their Mars is in, so like for me, when I've had this overlay, my third house is in Gemini, so it's very naturally just about communication. Like I have great communication with people that have Mars in Gemini, and also when I have dated men with this placement of Mars, we did seem to travel a lot, like short trips, right? So the third house is also the house of short trips, not long trips, short trips. So like if you're dating someone with this placement, or you have a good friend with this placement, you might like go to places in your own town that maybe you'd never been before, but that are close by, but like, oh wait, there's a library here, like, oh, let's go check that out. The person with their Mars falling in your third house is like getting you to explore your own town in a way that maybe you never have before, because Mars is like that more active energy. So when you're having someone's Mars fall in your third house, you're kind of like, okay, like for me, I remember just driving all around the city here, which is not something that I regularly do, but when I was with this Mars in my third house guy, we were doing all types of trips, and I had more confidence in my ability to just like casually move around town. Like I'm a Taurus homebody, so that's not usual for me, but when someone's Mars in Gemini was in my third house, I was like, and I've had friends with this too, where you just kind of want to get out and about more, and it's pretty social too. Like I met a lot of acquaintance type people, not close friends, but like just I broadened my horizons from this relationship. And even though we had other intense sort of links going on that, the relationship didn't continue in a romantic way, it was still a very beneficial, mind-opening, expanded influence that was positive. And that's the thing with this overlay, is that the lightness, yeah, you can remain friends. You can actually like step aside from all the emotional stuff and just see this person more logically and more like a buddy and more like in a way sort of realistically. I mean, depending on what else is going on, because this is kind of a intellectual overlay, so it can kind of feel a little bit like we're siblings or buddies, and like people that are more water dominant or plutonic or whatever, this one might be more boring, because it's not like, and it's not boring at all, but just it does seem to lack that level of intensity, like of a more heavier Mars overlay. Like, even like, yeah, it doesn't have the sexual buzz, right? It's not really about that. But like, if you have other sexual links going on, this is like a welcomed influence, because yeah, you just kind of feel like you're buddies, and you can expand your mind a lot, and like learn, like, not necessarily, it's not Mars in the 9th house, we're not like, you know, expanding in a huge way, but we're broadening our horizons as far as like, you know, moving around, short trips, exploring your own town. It, you know, you can also have a really good intellectual rapport with this person. Like, this is a really good overlay for like student teacher. Like if you're teaching someone something and you have this overlay going either way, it's really good for that as well. So really good intellectual rapport you can have with this placement, and yeah, good lighthearted buddies feel where you do feel comfortable with this person. It's not usually hard to strike up a conversation, and yeah, it's not one of the more angry influences of Mars. Like, you're not, I mean, you could in some cases get a little bit feisty in your communication with each other, like where you're, you know, aggressively poking fun, or even in some cases you're fighting, right? You're both kind of battling with the words, but it's usually done in such a lighthearted way that all is forgiven. At least as far as what I've experienced, this is a pretty light feeling overlay. And actually, you could see that with Mars in the air houses, that it's just like a, well, actually, not to say, I'll have to do Mars in the 7th house, because that is a little bit different, because the 7th house can sometimes show a shadow part of ourselves that we classify as enemies, but overall the other air houses, the 11th and the 3rd, we have a buddies vibe, we have a friendship vibe, and we can have that too with the 7th house too. It's more complex than that. But yeah, probably out of any of the overlays, well, I like them all, but this would be one of my favorites. It's a really good one to have. So I'd love to know what your experience was of this, and I'm also doing requests. This was requested. I'm going through some more Mars in the overlays videos here because they were requested. So yeah, I'm doing your requests. Let me know below, and I also offer one-on-one sessions. My links are below. You can check it out there. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.